A little rising moment from my kitchen. Come share it with me. Today I'm doing another meal prep. This time I'm gonna make beetroot soup, borscht in Polish, borscht in Russian. The ingredients are beef, onion, carrots, garlic, potatoes, beets, tomato paste, some spices, bay leaf, cayenne pepper if you like spice, vinegar. I think that's all, but I'm gonna chop it up and get it all ready so I can show you. So I'm chopping my ingredients, but I want to go ahead and start cooking the beef because it takes longer. So I just want to say that this is my version of the soup. I always cook it the way I want to cook it. Just make it your own. I know there's different versions, different spices, different ways to cook it. Let's just say that's my version of it. So let me show you. So I chopped kind of small, about 2 pounds of beef, whatever I have, that's what I use. I was hoping I have some like beef bones in the freezer, but I couldn't find any. I like to cook a beef that has a bone. Normally I have a chunk of beef on a bone that I throw in the pot and cook it for hour and a half, and then take it out and chop it. But I'm gonna go ahead and start searing this in my Dutch oven, and then fill it with liquid and cook it probably hour and a half before I start adding other ingredients. And what that is, I'm gonna show you next. I browned my beef in 2 batches so that I can get those, brown bits like this. I added some salt and pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, 2 bay leaves, and also Maggi, which you can do Worcestershire sauce. I can't pronounce it, so there you go. And then I'm just gonna I boiled some water, so I don't have to wait for it to boil. I'm gonna probably do that much, which is 4, 5, 6 cups of water. And I'm gonna let this boil for like an hour, maybe even longer, before I start adding other things. All right, I take it back. I'm adding 1 beet that's chopped into little cubes to the beef right now, so that the soup will start getting flavored with the beets. I had 4 beets total, so I'm gonna, the 3 other beets will be peeled and shredded. I already have 4 shredded carrots, probably too much, but I want to fill up that pot. I have probably 5 potatoes. This looks like 4 cups of potatoes, probably too much again, but I want to try to fill it to the brim. I'm gonna chop or slice, actually maybe slice, 1 large onion and several cloves of garlic in a little bit, and I will show you the process. Do I know why adding the beets right now? Probably for the reason I just told you, but I watched a bunch of recipes at some point and just kind of adapted different parts from different recipes, and so that's how I'm doing. This is not a Polish recipe. In Poland, we make beet soup that's cooked with beets and vegetables, and then you strain it and you just use the broth and you eat it with pierogi or little dumplings, uszka. And I might show it some other time. I just love making this one. I love hearty soups then that it can fill your belly. You eat this with a slice of bread and you had a good dinner. So I'm adding this to the pot right now while I continue chopping my vegetables. So here's the rest of my ingredients, and to be all transparent, my recipe is written down with just what goes in it, not with how much, and I just put in whatever I think. Looking at this, I think it might be too much for my pot, but I can always switch to a bigger pot. This is 3 beets shredded, 8 cloves of garlic. I love garlic, so I always put extra. 4 carrots shredded, 1 large onion. I chopped it in like a little, kind of like strings like this, and the beets. 4 or 5 potatoes, pretty good size, chopped. I'm keeping them in water so they don't brown. And then you're gonna need some tomato paste. I think this will be enough. There's maybe like a tablespoon and a half. If not, I have another one I'm gonna put in there. And let me turn the camera around and I'll tell you how the next step. The next step, you're gonna need a frying pan, and you're gonna put some butter in, and you're gonna cook the beets. Let's see, beets with the tomato paste. You're gonna cook that, and you're gonna add you're gonna cook it for a little bit, and then you're gonna add a little bit of water, like a couple tablespoons, and like a tablespoon of white vinegar. It's gonna keep the color nice and bright. Let me take care of the dog. My dog is gonna do this for attention. Every time I talk, he wants to talk. That's just how it is. So then after, so you one frying pan, or you can do it in the same one later, but you do the beets with the tomato paste first, and I'll show it to you. And then the next step will be to you're gonna cook the onion with the carrots in a frying pan, and you're gonna add it to the soup. Both of those ingredients you add it to the soup, and you also add the garlic into the soup, and I'm probably gonna add some cayenne pepper, and I'll show you the steps. And I'm gonna kind of wait. I need to get to a certain point. Oh, and potatoes. So garlic and potatoes, they go into the pot, but you don't want to add them till you know, the beef is fairly cooked, because the potatoes will cook like 20 minutes and they're gonna be done. Here I'm starting with the beets and some butter. I put maybe 2 tablespoons of butter in there, and I'm gonna cook them a little bit first before adding the tomato paste, and I'm just gonna kind of mix it in, and then, like I said, add some water and vinegar before I add it to the soup. So I'm gonna cook it like a couple minutes. I have time. You know, the beef needs to cook a long time, but this will be okay to add in there because the beets are kind of hard. They need to cook for quite a long time too. I added about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. And tomato paste likes to be kind of cooked before you add it to a soup, whatever you're making. So I'm gonna kind of cook it together like this. I'll lower my feet a little bit. And I'm gonna add a little bit of water and 1 tablespoon of vinegar here in just a little bit. Here are my beets with a splash of water and splash of vinegar. And I think the vinegar is, ouch, I just burned my arm on this. But anyway, I think this is purely for the color, but maybe the vinegar adds some kind of flavor to it. It's just like 1 tablespoon. So I'm gonna cook it like another minute or 2 and put it in the pot with the beef and the other beets. This pot is pretty hot. I had to run some cold water over my arm. Cooking injuries. Anyway, so I added my beets to this pot, and I'm gonna cover it up in just a second. Here I didn't even wash this out because everything is going in the same pot. I have another 2 tablespoons of butter melting, and to this I'm gonna add my whole chopped onion, and I'm gonna cook this a little bit before I add all the carrots. Here my onions are starting to caramelize, hopefully not burnt. So I'm gonna add all these carrots. Like I said, this is for carrots. You probably don't need that much. I just like the sweetness from carrots. And like I said, I'm trying to fill this pot to the brim. I like hearty soup. I want there to be a lot of veggies and just a lot of stuff. I added a little bit of salt to this. I'm gonna probably taste the soup when I put everything in and just adjust seasoning. I forgot to tell you, I added some cayenne pepper to my beets just to kind of cook it with it. And just make it a little more spicy. But I'm gonna let this cook for a couple minutes and add it to the soup, and I'm gonna check on my beef at that time and decide if I want to add my potatoes and garlic. I did not set a timer on, so I'm just kind of guesstimating as always. I'm adding my garlic in here just to kind of cook the rawness, the raw parts out of it just a little bit before adding to my soup. But this is ready to go in the soup, so I'm gonna check on my meat. I think it's been cooking for about an hour. Okay, so here are all the ingredients. Now I'm gonna add potatoes. I'm boiling some water so I can just, you know, pour hot water in here, and it's gonna keep boiling. I definitely need salt, so I think I'm gonna add better than bouillon. I only have chicken. It's gonna be fine. I want to add some kind of saltiness into it, and some black pepper, and I'm gonna try to fill it up to the brim with water, and then cook another 20 minutes or so for the potatoes. You can see that when I added potatoes, I definitely need more water, so let's do that. I boiled the water like I said, and I'm just gonna put about 6 cups in again. I have it all the way to the brim. Oh yum. I'm so hungry for this. So now I'm gonna bring it to boil and cook it about 20 minutes, and it should be ready. My soup is ready. I got a full pot. What I do with it is I put it in a small wide mouth jars, and I freeze it. And that's my kind of fast food throughout the week, or whenever I want a hot soup. I made it pretty spicy. I just tasted it. Good thing is, you eat it with sour cream, and the sour cream will cool it off a little bit. So I'll show it to you once I plate it. But it is delicious. The color is really pretty. The potatoes had to cook a little bit over 20 minutes. I think I started my timer before it fully came to boil. So I cooked it another 30 minutes. So I started this endeavor 2 hours and 48 minutes ago. So it takes a bit, but it's you know, it's made with love. It's all ingredients you know. It's better than anything from a can. It's delicious. This is how I'm gonna eat it, with a dollop of sour cream. I'm gonna mix it in, and some freshly toasted homemade sourdough bread. I hope this little moment brought you joy. Until the next one.